Saturnin troops, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Simply Podcast. Uh, Again, today we have our special guest or co-host in Remy. Remy, how are we today?
Ah, fantastic. Long
Good.
shift, up early. Happy to be here.
Nice. You know, I can't remember the last time I worked a Saturday. Actually, now I think about it. Not that I'm rubbing it in or anything, but
So
but
that's
yeah,
not fair.
no. Team, thank you all so much for the support on the last podcast. Particularly the clips. The clips were they
Ooh,
banged.
they popped.
You know, yeah, we had I had numerous one out of tens when posting them. So thank you so much for the support on those ones. If you haven't already checked them out, go check them out because particularly the ones that are really banged, they are quality in my own opinion. So yes, go check them out immediately. But if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the YouTube. It does help us out massively. So yeah, just subscribe. We're sitting on, I think, at the moment 1,129 subscribers. So yeah, just I don't like us being on a 9 number, so just one more and pushes into that lovely round zero.
Oh, we'll get there.
So so yes, team, make sure that you do subscribe there. And if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music or your nan's TV, as I love to say on this podcast, make sure you do check out the other socials as well that we've got, obviously on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok as well. Make sure you check all them out as well. All the links to these things will be in the description. Perfect. Right. Well, today, kind of topics that we've got. We figured out a few interesting ones. I mean, I feel like we more or less should actually start with, particularly talking about the last podcast and kind of talking about the kind of content that we're wanting to produce in this podcast. You know, Remy, obviously the last podcast that we produced, the clips in particular absolutely banged. Now, obviously, podcasts generally are slow burners. Whenever they're produced, so the actual video itself will take time to grow, but it will grow over time.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to ask you is that obviously this podcast is primarily been about me getting guests on and interviewing them and finding out more about them. Is there any particular guests? Is there any particular kind of things that you would like to take the podcast? We'll see if the viewers agree with you.
Well, because obviously you've been doing this a lot longer, so you know quite a few content creators, and it's easier for you to get those kinds of get the kind of guests on to the show. I would like to see like non-content creation people on, like directors, reporters, stuff like that, and just ask them questions on what it's like to be in that kind of life.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely different kind of professions and stuff like that. I mean, I know
Like
full well
comedians
that.
as well.
I mean, I know full well at some point we will be getting a few people in the kind of football world on at some point. So it's definitely something that we'll look at eventually. Getting like some more kind of different professions on.
Yeah.
Obviously, people that maybe stuff that people don't really know, because obviously something like that could be actually very helpful for somebody that's looking for a career to go into. And if we're able to potentially even just give them, show them where the door is, it's up to them if they want to walk through it. So it definitely. I mean,
inspiring a young generation.
I'm just full of metaphors, mate. Honestly, I'm a wise person. Not that I'm blowing my own trumpet or anything. But yeah, no. So yeah, we'll definitely look at getting some of these kind of guests on. I mean, obviously myself. There's a few people I've kind of shortlisted. I mean, I would love to get Chufters on again. Once we've kind of got to the year mark of the previous podcast, and I just kind of ask them like differences now. Because obviously Chufters helped us out massively. I think that's still my most downloaded and most watched podcast. Was that one with Chufters. So I'd love to get him on and ask him, compared to what it was like the year before, how's it now? I'd love to get I've even mentioned to get James back on again, but also kind of some different guests as well. Obviously we had Landmine, who was he's got a whole different,
really good episode.
Different, yeah, he's got a completely different community. So I'd love to get some of his community on. Because some of them are really good content creators as well, which popped in the streams with there, so we might look out that side as well. And obviously I had Nanjon as well. He talked about his time in McLaren. So I'd love to even like look again, potentially more esports potential people on as well, like kind of interviewing them, see the ins and outs of that, and see. Also, I'd love to know the kind of what's the toll of that kind of thing mentally. Like, I feel like, like in esports in particular, it's all about the mental strength that you have.
I think it
And
would
I
actually
kind of
have a more of an effect than, because it's somebody who's like competed in competitions. Like it is daunting to a degree, and it does. It's especially if you're like you're anxious, or you just fear losing, and that kind of thing. But it does take its toll. But something where the physical is completely removed from the situation, and it's purely just mental aptitude. That
Yeah,
it
in
must be
fairness, what
scary to be
you
in.
mentioned there about the physical attitude, believe it or not, I saw an advert actually just today about a show that's on Amazon where they've taken like these chess players, esports players, and they're putting them through a physical test to see if it helps their brain power,
Hmm.
and see if they get better performances through that. So that'll be quite an interesting experiment to see.
I would actually like
Like,
to see that.
yeah, to see if it's if there's actually that link there for like the between kind of physical activity and that kind of brain power of performing.
Hmm.
Like, so yeah, I'd love to know that. I mean, obviously myself, I'm not gonna lie, I could do with losing a few pounds myself,
Oh, we're all there,
So
man.
maybe that's one of the reasons why I stuck at games. Hey, who knows? Uh, like, I mean, do we even talk about the Warzone
Oh God.
Xpade? My
Uh,
first
it
ever
it
experience
was
of
fun. You
Warzone.
did a lot better than all of us were expecting you to. You actually got a few kills, so you didn't do too
Mm.
bad. But
I
it
mean,
was
what
it was not, you were not good. You ran away from us in a car because you thought it was the enemy.
I mean, it's a car. Um, I mean, what was I gonna say to you? What's your opinions on Warzone actually this year?
I absolutely adore it. Like I
Mm.
know. Well, to be fair, I only know one person that doesn't actually really like it, but I really do like what they've changed. So it's more about doing the contracts and the objectives versus just drop in, loot, loadout, drop in, loot, loadout. Like there's so many different ways you can like start in this version of Warzone. What Errol and I normally do, we do what's called Bruce. So we're big fans of the Evil Dead franchise. So what Bruce means is you just dive bomb to the train, and sometimes you survive, sometimes you lose. Errol and I have become rather good at getting out of the gulag. We've spent that much time in it.
Right. Okay. I mean, so you're saying that this one is better. So is maybe potentially got more of a kind of like teamwork aspect to it than what
Oh yeah,
the
it had
previous
much
ones.
more. It relies much more on teamwork than the last one. Like you could just run in solo, blah blah blah, and I think it is built more for teams now rather than
Mm.
solo, because it's just it with what way the objectives work in it, or you could just decide to like drop and wait for a stronghold to get your loadout and all that crap. It's
Mm.
it's much more focused on sorry, not objectives, the contracts within the game to earn money to be able to go to a buy station instead of just looting everything. And
Mm-hmm.
the way the map works as well is that, like a lot of it is built upon like multiple access points to most areas in it. That sounds really bloody obvious because it's an open world map.
I mean, like every Warzone map obviously had its own areas, which were
Yeah.
that had their benefits
Mm.
to it. I mean, I remember particularly what was it like? I think in the last Warzone, there was like sort of there was prison,
Mm.
what was it that a lot of people used to go to?
Airport,
There was
stadium.
airport, stadium. Stadium was a big one.
Mm.
At one point, particularly. I mean, I Blackout was always my favorite.
Mm.
I don't know why it just did. Like going to Blackout with a DMR, was just one of my favorites. Did you ever play Blackout?
No,
I missed that.
that's actually one of the ones I skipped out. What was it? Black Ops Cold War was my first foray back into Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
since Black Ops 2, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last one I played.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, like, in fairness, in gaming in general, like okay, I pretty much the only game I play really is FIFA, and then I'll branch it with other things, but I don't know, I'm not as set on games as I usually would be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Pokemon. Like I can play
Mm.
Pokemon all day, every day.
I
But
wish I still had that with Pokemon.
yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't feel the same attachment to the newer ones as I
Mm.
do to the older ones. But it's still Pokemon for me. It's still the games have still got that kind of,
They've still got a bit of that magic left for you.
yeah, like it, like with the newest one, um, it's broken. Like it's very broken. It still is broken, but everything that they've tried to do with it, I really like. Like, they made it. They added this new dimension to it with the Terra, tesserization or something like that, for Pokemon, where you could change their type, and that added a completely new aspect to competitive Pokemon. So obviously, the fact that you can change the type of the Pokemon that you have, but obviously you can only do it with one Pokemon in your team. Obviously, it adds this new kind of competitive side of like strategy, in a sense.
Mm.
So, it's really good with this kind of stuff they tried. I mean, like the story in particular was miles better than any other one I've played. The kind of open world aspect of it was really good. I mean, I kind of went the hard way around it. I did a lot of the harder badges first, uh, before doing a lot of the easier ones. So the game, at first I thought, why is this game so hard? I was wondering to myself, I was like, why is this? What's going? This is maybe a kids game. Why am I struggling? And then it kind of clicked when I got to the gyms at the end. I was like, oh, I just went backwards. That's why. But I do like the fact that you could do that. If you wanted a harder game at the start, you could do that. But obviously, one of the best thing for it would be if they did kind of regional leveling. I think is the way it's put, where it's like a retrospective leveling, maybe a better way of putting it. Like, depending on what level you are, how many badges you got, depends on the level of Pokemon that you come across.
Oh, uh,
There's actually a phrase for it, and I've completely
there's a term
forgotten
for
it.
that. And funny enough, I was actually talking about that the other day with somebody when we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
games, and I knew it then, but for some reason, it's completely left my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things where like they've done something completely different, and it is very good. I haven't really tried the co-op feature yet, so I can't judge that yet. But from what I've
I've
heard,
heard it's bad.
okay. I've actually heard alternative. When James was trying it, he quite liked it.
But
And
also,
they
like a lot of the people that I know are just kind of sick of Pokemon now,
okay,
so
yeah,
they may be biased towards it, like I would be.
yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, I mean, it's like opinions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like although you said you only really knew one person that didn't like Warzone, obviously you're not on Twitter or something like that. So I have been seeing a lot more sides of it.
Mm.
A lot of people that are really fed up with certain things on it, and then others that absolutely adore it and
See,
say that they can play
I've
every
heard
day.
a lot of the complaints, but the crashing thing, like I I've crashed maybe once or twice in over 110 hours of playing it. Like I there were a few lighting glitches when it launched, but
Mm-hmm.
that was the most that I ever got from it. I don't understand a lot of the negatives.
Mm-hmm. No,
I do think it's just people complaining for the sake of complaining.
I mean, I haven't seen masses amount of gameplay on Warzone. I watch, like, when I'm working. I've got Sam Tat stream because he's live every day at 10. So I
Mm.
have his stream on the background, and he always plays Warzone. So I kind of like see it while not having my headphones on, so I can't hear
Mm.
what he's doing, but I can see it. There, and like it always looks like he looks like. I mean, the fact he's able to play it like constantly from like 10 a.m. to like sort of like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, it's like a
Like,
job, so.
yeah, but he does it comfortably, and although it's maybe not the best for content because it obviously is a bit diluted. Like, where content wise, I mean, obviously, kind of what I was saying just before, content wise for Warzone, it's hard because obviously it's quite a diluted game. There's like if I say Warzone to you, you're not gonna think, oh, I need to go hop on his Simply Spud stream. It's maybe a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, go watch Tim the Tap Man, or
Yeah.
go watch Vicstar. You know, like you're probably gonna go watch someone else that's very very good at the game.
Mm.
So it's a harder one to get kind of good views and stuff like that for. But it could, if it's longevity wise, then the game has potential. With it, I mean, it's never going to be as bad, in my opinion, for producing content as Halo.
Oh, ugh.
I mean, do I poke at that bear?
Oh, you can poke at that bear if you want, considering like 90% of 343 staff, it looks, has been sacked recently.
Yeah. Do you want to dive into that actually a little bit? Like, kind of just talking
Oh,
about disappointment with Halo.
okay. I am a massive Halo fan, and it really hurts me to see that they had so much potential with Halo Infinite. Like it has the best gunplay and gameplay since Halo 3. Like we've been waiting a long time for a game to have the feel like to actually not just look like Halo, but actually feel like you're playing a Halo game. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the campaign. I loved the open world. But my God, where is the content? What was it like? 5 months for a new map.
I have to admit, this was the first Halo that I enjoy watching competitively, but I've never enjoyed playing it. This was the first one where I debated: do I really try at this? Do I really try it? I like seeing what my rank can be on this, but because the content was so slow, like Forge in particular, Forge was the one thing I needed.
You and I, because you and I were talking about this, like in the run up to the game, like talking about nostalgic memories of playing like Cops and Robbers, Trash Man, on Halo 3 Forge and Halo 5. No, not Halo 5, Halo Reach Forge.
Like, yeah, it's like the Forge is one of the best things about Halo. Like obviously the competitive play is good and the multiplayer is good, but Forge just gave an element of creativity that I'd only potentially like I can only really compare maybe Minecraft and Roblox to.
Yeah.
In the sense of like the fact that you could create an entirely different game within a game. So when I think of like Halo Forge, I think of like we would go from 1 minute to maybe doing like a kind of free for all to then doing everyone against one player, where it was like or we could end up doing bumper cars, or we have a track race. All of a sudden, like the dynamic of the game completely changes because of like you had the creativity to do that. So the fact that when it launched without it, and then it took a year and a bit for it to come out. Like
it's not good.
That like the player base for it is pretty much gone. The
and it's
player
the fault
base
of
for that is now in
343.
Warzone, like yourself.
Like from the top down, the handling of this game from development to release, to not even full fucking release, because the game still isn't like fully out. There's still there's still things missing from the bloody game that we were promised. I held out hope this time because everything I'd seen for it, and when I was playing the beta, the closed and open betas for it, I truly loved the gameplay. Like it just made okay, this is a Halo game. This shit has potential. Like even Andy agreed with me in terms of like gunplay. It's the best we've had in over a decade. Like it just is, and to see them take that and just fuck it up so quickly, from mismanagement to no communication, lack of content, like taking too long to fix issues. They mishandled this entire game, and it is a shame to see because I very much doubt it, but like Halo might go the way of like Banjo-Kazooie, an untouched franchise simply because of how mismanaged like a Banjo-Kazooie 3 was, nuts and bolts, how bad that game was. There hasn't been a Banjo-Kazooie game in over 15 years because of that one bad game. How poorly this has been handled. It might be a long time before we see any new Halo ever again.
Yeah, like I feel like they should have ended it with Halo 3 like they planned to, and then come back with a remake. I think that would have been a better course of action because, like, say if they did Halo 3, but then just updated graphics, updated combat mechanics, like like stuff like just the improvement of life,
Mm.
or quality of life, updates to it.
Honestly, if
'Cause
Halo 3 was or Halo 2 was redone
yeah,
in this with the mechanics of Halo Infinite, it would be one of the best games of all time for me.
hmm
I
like
tr-
yeah,
oh,
there's things they should have done with it that they just didn't. And what's weird? It's weird, right? Because when you're a consumer of this kind of this kind of content and games and stuff like that, you feel like the developers see if they just asked, "What do you want to see? What is this a feature that you would like?"
See,
You feel like
half the time they don't listen though.
yeah,
Look at the shit Blizzard got into at one of their conventions. Was it what
mm,
you guys don't have phones? You don't want to play games on your phones when they announced Diablo Bloody Immortal, one of the most predatory pay to win games on the market.
mm, it's man, like you just feel like if people listen, if the developers listen more, there'll be a lot more success. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am fully understanding that you cannot please everyone,
Oh
and
yeah.
there is going to be a lot of people that when they play a game, if it's not easy from the get go, it'll get thrown in the bin immediately
Hmm.
by them. Which is which is very frustrating. But like if I take into account FIFA for example with this, there's so many quality of life things that could make the game significantly better. Um, like even in the sense of like okay, they added the customization in the sense of like oh you can do your own stadium and stuff like that. Um, like there's just a lot. I mean, it took them a while to add tattoos in pro clubs, but and to add tattoos, you have to go onto Volta to then go onto pro clubs to import your guy. So you have to go into a different side of the game to then have the stuff that you've activated on that side of the game to be active on the other side of the game that you
Hmm.
want to play. So it's like you just feel like they're just things that you could like oh just make it active there, like just add that like cancel out that extra movement, quality of life improvement. Um, the game like the gameplay. If I take the gameplay out of it completely, there's there's just things that they could have done significantly better, like even just in appearances wise, um, the sense of oh, see now that I've mentioned it, I'm trying to think of examples and I can't think of a single one, which is really irritating. Like I'm trying to go, oh, this could fix, they fix this, they fix this. I can't think of a single thing right now because I've brought it up without any preparation. So this is kind of my own fault there. I've gone down the rabbit hole that I shouldn't have gone down, Eh, which is a bit silly. But I know full well there's like listen guys, if you're listening in the comments, let me know kind of things that you wish the games had. So like whether it's Halo, whether it's FIFA, well, whether it's Warzone, I mean Warzone isn't a perfect game. What kind of things would you like to see in that? Let me know in the comments. And if you're listening on Spotify or anything, tweet me because I could do a few more followers on Twitter. So that's at simply_spud. Go for it. Remy hasn't got a Twitter, so I'll just shout myself out. Uh,
Not yet. I will.
yeah. I mean, like obviously we did discuss it previously. I
Listen,
mean,
I'll get around to it, okay? Stop bullying me.
I mean, no, Billy Hook. No, I wouldn't actually. That could be a rabbit hole I could go down and
Yeah,
never
let's
come
not.
out of. Oh man, I mean, yeah, it's like. But I mean, I talked about it briefly there, but talking about the kind of Pokemon side of thing. I mean, one of the topics that we kind of put in here was like talking about kind of game remakes and quality versus nostalgia. Um, like
Mm,
like I just mentioned it there. If they'd done a quality of life improvements to Halo 3 or Halo 2, you know, that game would bang.
mm. Oh,
Like
it
that,
absolutely would.
yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, we have seen plenty remakes that are just not up to par. Like,
One of the
like,
worst
like
ones I've played was a SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Edition. Terrible, terrible, terrible remake.
mhm,
It's a terrible remake in the sense that it stuck so faithfully to the original game that all of those things that would have been fine and passable 20 years ago are now just mind destroying.
mhm. Like, well, I mean, one of the things that immediately shouted out to me as soon as I said kind of bad remake was actually the Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Really? You didn't like Diamond and Pearl?
Um, it's just they added the underground thing with it,
Yeah.
but it could have been a lot better.
I
It
don't know.
could have been a
I
lot
kind of just
better.
thought it was exactly what I was expecting from a modern Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's just it wasn't quite it. I also wasn't keen on the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee games. However, when I look at them compared to Scarlet and Violet, I do wonder why they didn't why that Scarlet and Violet games ran so poorly. When I look at the Let's Go range, because those games surely were almost just as taxing, judging by how much I mean, oh, maybe not quite as taxing in certain areas, but
Well, I would
um,
assume it's a case of like a mixing the open world with a rushed and heavily crunched game release.
yeah, I mean, like you know what Nintendo's like with games. We will never go a year without at least having like two Pokemon games.
Oh,
It like
that's something that depresses me though. Like that's just and it's been the problem I've had with Pokemon and with this whole mentality of game remakes and stuff like that. It's nice to get it every so often. But when you see it done all the time, it kind of takes away from the concept of like, oh, like I wish I could play this, and oh my god, they've actually done it. To where like, they're probably just gonna remake this because cash grab. Like, why not?
mhm.
But like sometimes games shouldn't be remade. Like one of the biggest remakes that I'm excited for is the Dead Space remake, because I'm a
Mhm.
massive fan of the original game.
Mhm.
And I've seen some things on it where they've unnecessarily changed scenes that weren't that they're not offensive, but it's it's the case of like people may not like it and may feel a bit uncomfortable with it.
Mhm.
So they changed it to something completely different, and it I don't get why they've changed that specific scene.
Mhm.
It's just like a blind. It's a blind. Well, a woman who's unfortunately blind due to the circumstances of the games and the creatures. And then is like digging out like shrapnel and stuff from her friend that's dead beside her, and like and hands you an upgrade item.
You know what I've just thought of there, right? Well, first of all, actually, can I ask what's your opinion on Harry Potter?
Uh, I I enjoy
Do
it for
you
what it is. I read the books and I enjoyed the films. Like I grew up watching the films. Like
mhm.
we both would have. Like,
Yeah.
I really I like Harry Potter, but I'm not a oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever. It's like no, like I like Harry Potter.
So here's my question, right? What's your opinion on um people avoiding the new game coming out
I
because of
think it's
J.K.
stupid.
Rowling?
I think it's stupid. Like yes, like in an ideal world, everybody would be nice, but you're always going to get difference of opinions and conflicting arguments, no matter where you go in the world.
Yeah.
But this woman created and owns the IP. Like you can't really say that that you shouldn't have this. Well, I created it, I own it. So whether you like her or not, she owns it. And her the views of an individual are not reflected in the views of the product. Like just
I
because
mean, I wouldn't say that's always true, but
well,
like I
not
feel like on
always,
this
but
one,
she has nothing to do with the development of this
yeah,
game or the
I feel like
story.
her own views are not reflected in the collective of
Yeah,
like the or the community that is being created through this.
yeah.
So yeah, I like obviously like this. I get it completely in the sense of yeah, I don't get why people I get why people avoid it, right? I do actually understand why people avoid it. I don't necessarily agree with the reasoning why they're avoiding it, um because like I feel there's better ways to go about it,
Hmm.
because like the people that have developed this game haven't done
Anything
anything
wrong?
wrong.
Neither
Yeah,
the actors,
but you're
voice
punishing,
actors.
yeah, you're punishing these people with what is going to be a very, it's probably going to be a very good game. I find it hard
Hmm.
considering that they postponed it but and have leaked little bits and pieces throughout for the game to be bad. The only thing that concerns me is potentially another cyberpunk situation, which I'm hoping doesn't happen.
That's
Which
well,
I'm
I
hoping
hope
doesn't
not.
happen, but it is a potential it could.
Hmm.
Um so that's one of the things I'm hoping. But yeah, it's yeah, it's. I mean,
Like,
let me
this woman
point
had
this out.
nothing to do. She owns the IP, created the IP of the franchise that this game belongs to. Happens hundreds of years
Mm.
before the events of the story that she wrote herself. Like, like she owns it, but she has nothing to do with the game.
No,
I would
let me put
understand if
it.
she was the lead writer for it, but
I mean, like, we're not gonna go into it, right?
yeah.
But but if I said to you Disney immediately, you'll know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, oh yeah, no, I
Yeah, exactly.
100% know what you're
Yeah,
talking
like,
about.
listen, people, we're not going to go into that on the podcast, but if you want to maybe understand that point that I've just made there, Google Disney's history.
Yeah. Google
And
Walt Disney.
yeah, Google Walt Disney.
See some of
And
his pals.
yes, exactly. And you'll understand the point that we've just made there about why this game shouldn't be punished for J.K. Rowling's views. Which I should add immediately are ridiculous. But
I agree that I do not agree with their opinions at all.
Oh,
I think
absolutely
I
not.
think they're just horrible. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell somebody that they're not allowed to have their own opinion. Like, I disagree with them, but everybody is going to have an opinion. And some you're going to like and some you're going to hate.
yeah, this is, to be honest, in my opinion, this is a very wrong opinion. Like this like her what she's saying at the moment is very. She knows what she's saying.
Yeah.
This is my issue. She knows what she's saying, and she knows, like that what she's implying, what she's stated will hurt people,
Yeah.
and it's just not on in my opinion. But hey,
No,
listen.
and I can completely
Yeah.
agree, but nobody can argue that her basic human right is freedom of speech and freedom of thought.
Yes, but with that freedom of speech means that she can be like if you say something,
Needs to be held accountable for the
yes,
actions and
accountable,
words.
yeah,
but
that's what I was trying to say there. Yeah, accountability, because if you say it, you are then accountable for the actions that are you're accountable for the punishment that could be ensued with that. The problem with that is obviously, unfortunately, in this case, it's potentially people that are making the game that are going to be punished.
People
for
completely
this,
unconnected.
Exactly, yes. Like just game developers that I've seen a job posted on Indeed and gone, oh, I'm just going to become a game developer, or I'm going to be a voice actor. And realistically, if this game flops and there's not a sequel,
a lot of people could do it out of money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's face it, this game has had a lot invested into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Moving on, I think from that one, I think we'll look at well. I was just about to say, talking about Walt Disney, and that's a dark path to go down. Yeah.
I think I know what question this is.
What was that?
I think I know what question you're going to ask now.
yeah. Well, no, okay. Listen, the answer to this question is not going to be Walt Disney. So let's just rule this one out immediately. If you could have a beer with anyone, living or dead, who would it be and why? I mean, this sounds like a interview question.
Robin Williams, without a shadow of doubt, Robin Williams.
That is very, very good.
I would just love to have an hour, maybe 2 hours with him, just having a giggle, seeing just hear some of that mastery of improv just fired at me. It's just minds like that always astonish me. So I would just love to have a beer with him.
Yeah, I think it's between two people. Michael Jordan.
Ooh, sorry, a live board. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Michael Jordan or Thierry Henry or Arsene Wenger. Oh, jeez.
I would rather
Chester Bennington.
Oh no, I'm sad.
Oh Jesus. Or Billy Connolly.
Oh, I would love to have a conversation with a young Billy Connolly.
Yeah, like. I'd also love a conversation with Jeremy Clarkson. I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, like I'm just bringing up names now. Of like I've just said, I said one person.
Pick one, brings list.
I've given you like 6. um. Oh, I think Michael Jordan. I think after a conversation with Michael Jordan talking about some of his experiences and stuff, I think I'd just be inspired afterwards. I
Mm.
think like I'd have a whole new hunger for things. And I think because like don't get me wrong, after watching the Last Dance documentary, I had a whole new appreciation for Jordan,
Oh yeah,
and
same.
it's because it like oh don't get me wrong, that team was mad that he was in for the Last Dance, but Michael Jordan was the superstar of that team, and I don't feel like there's
And they didn't, and the 2 seasons, well, 2.5 seasons that he didn't play in, didn't win.
yeah like it's like he was the Ronaldo and even more
He,
so he was the Ronaldinho even potentially of like kind of basketball
mm,
because not only did he wow people but he put on a show, he made it entertaining to watch,
mm,
and you kind of there was an inevitability of what's going to happen. Now don't get me wrong, Kobe Bryant as well was also unreal, but and LeBron is unreal, and I know Steph Curry's unreal, but none of them really had this aura and this
yeah.
inevitability about them that Jordan had, or even you know what, even still technically does have it still has because
It's like
he's killing it in the
a
business world now.
magnetism to him. He
Yeah,
just
it's
draws success to him.
yeah, and it's like you listen to this his story and stuff like through like the Last Dance and that, and it's just like that competitive hunger
Mm,
that you only really see from those that reach the top.
yeah.
Like I was watching the well, I was watching a video and it had about Kobe Bryant basically, and it was one where I can't even remember what the name of the player is that was doing something, but it was like they were going to be warming up for a match, and basically he gets out in the court to go shoot some hoops and stuff like that beforehand. He does it at like 3 o'clock, and the game's not until like 6 or 7, I think. So they're out in the court at 3 o'clock, and he says, "All right, I'm not leaving that court until I shoot 400 hoops, basically." Um, Now he gets there, and you think it's 3 o'clock. It's quite early. No one's going to be there. Kobe Bryant's already there shooting away. Um, and he's shooting these hoops and stuff like that, and he shoots his 400 and stuff like that. And Kobe Bryant's still going at it. And he points out the fact that these hoops that he's shooting in are not just your, like simple ones. These are like game moves. These are like exuberant movements that
Mm.
he's producing constantly. And you know, an hour's gone by, and the player that was telling the story, he's gone to go sit down and stuff and chill out for a bit, and Kobe's still going. He's still going, and I was like, oh, well, if he's still going, I've then got to keep going as well. So he then shoots another few for another half an hour. Then he's like, well, we're gonna have to start getting ready for the game now. So he goes into the changing rooms and gets sorted and stuff like that. And then Kobe's still out there when he comes back out, and this is like an hour before game. And he's just like, what's going on? And obviously, stadium's starting to fill up and stuff like that. And Kobe's still there shooting these tips and doing these big movements. And eventually, kind of like 20 minutes before the game, he goes through the back. But after the game, and I should add, after the game, like Kobe had a blinder. He absolutely played him off the floor and stuff like that. The player goes up to Kobe and asks, well, why were you shooting so early? Well, why were you out there so late? Basically, is what he was asking, and he said it was because he saw you there. The fact they saw him coming out, and it was like, I have to prove to you that I'm going to work harder than you. And it's just like, God's sake,
I love
like,
that mentality though. That
yeah, it's
sheer driven force. That you would love to know like what drives people like that.
yeah. I mean, this is a belter of a story actually. This one I've got right. This isn't like we're gonna go from one mentality to another. By the way, like when I say this, right? So there's another podcast that I listen to every now and then called the Open Goal podcast, and this is a story from one of their guys that were playing at the time, and so the guy starts the story saying he was playing this match, and it's absolutely chucking it down with rain. It's the pitch is not great. It's muddy. It's a really miserable day, and they're losing 2-0, and he losing 2-0 at half time, and he says he's going into the the changing room, and he's expecting a rocking. He's expecting this manager to go absolutely off his nut. So they all sit down. It's like heads down, sometimes putting a towel over your head while you're sitting down and stuff like that. And the manager comes in, and he comes in with this bag, and he's like, "What's going on?" And all of a sudden they're dishing out this fresh kit, basically. Like all this stuff that's like not mud stains of what they've just gained in the first half. So he's got put on all this kit and stuff like that, and the manager's just going around to all these players, just going, "Oh, would you feel that kit? It's nice and new, nice and soft. It's like everyone get strapped, get changed into this kit. Oh, look at that! You're like a brand new player. You're like a brand new player." And this is all in the 50 minutes of half time. The manager's come in here with this brand new kit just to kind of, build these brand new players. And next you know, they won 3-2.
Fuck, fair play.
Yeah, so it's like difference of mentality, really. Brand new kit, and like all of a sudden, yep.
But imagine like they still lost.
Imagine
you wouldn't have heard of this story.
Yeah. Aye. Actually, I just thought of another person I'd love to have a conversation with is Neil Warnock.
Ooh, the man that was in the game for what? How many? 40 years.
Yeah, like you've got to fucking die for 3 points. I mean, like, I wonder how often he gets asked. I mean, one of the best things I saw from him. This was off the Happy Hour podcast. If you couldn't tell, I watch a lot of podcasts. Yeah. He was on the Happy Hour podcast. It was they rolled one of the clips where he's got this I forgot what it's called. It like in the States they call it a fanny pack. Like kind of bum bag thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's got one of them while they're doing the training. It's like open training, and this is just kind of as lockdown is kind of easing and stuff like that. But it's an open training, and there's some fans come to kind of watch it. And this wee girl goes up to Neil Warnock asking for an autograph. Now he can't handle any pens or anything like that, but what he's got in his fanny pack is these signed autographs of himself. So he's already pre-made a load to then hand out to this lassie who is like, "Yep, there you go."
What a man!
I just love the fact that it's like he said that he did this for every club he went to. Like he had these signed things all ready to go, so that he was just able to hand it out to people. So I can't remember what club it was he was at, but he said he had a load left over from one of the clubs he was at, and he was like, "Oh, what am I gonna do with these? Like, I don't know what's going on." And then he gets invited to go to a game at that club, and he's like, "Right, I'm taking these autographs with me." This is like probably about 4 or 5 years after he's already left. I don't know if he left on good terms or bad terms. I can't remember what he said on this one, but basically he on his way up he stops off in a pub. And he sees all these supporters in there. It's like, hold on, do you support? And I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Millwall or something like that. And he's like, yeah, and he just starts like dishing out all these autographs of himself in this pub, just like to all these guys. And he's like, yes, finally, I got rid of them all. All these autographs. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. I mean, I hope I get that famous to the point where I sign autographs. No,
because it would be a heartbreaking thing if you walked outside, like, oh yeah, people are gonna want to take photographs of me, can they get my autograph, and you just want to hand them out, and not one person asks. That's got to be heartbreaking, man.
Maybe I'll make that a YouTube video where I just go out to the Livingston Centre,
pretend to be
autographs of myself. Yeah, just pretend to be famous. It's like, here you go. Yep.
I wonder how many people would fall for that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure I'll be able to get a load out. And then what was is I hand this out, and then like I'll hire a security guard or something like that, and just like walk around the centre. Yeah, I'll just walk around the centre and stuff like that, and see if anyone like tries to take a picture or something like that with me. I mean, there's that clip of like where there was that guy who dressed up as Justin Bieber, and like it was kind of a lookalike, and he had security guards walking through a shopping centre, and like all of a sudden like people were like crowding round, and like this isn't Justin Bieber, this is just a lookalike. And they're walking down this busy shopping centre, and there's like there's just people crowding around this lookalike, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, man.
I don't
Um,
understand that, the idea of like gushing over someone so much that you have to stamp pace. Like if I meet somebody like, cool, like at the last store we were at before we moved up to Boucher. Um, you got like a few local comedians in there, and then one of the days James Nesbitt came in, and I think what do you call the long have you ever seen the film the end of the or the end of the world or something like that? It's like Simon Pegg and all this. They have to like
World's
no,
End.
sorry, no, wrong film. Shaun of the Dead.
Oh
Is
yeah.
your woman's husband, the long haired fella.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like he came in once. One of the weirdest experiences of my life. He starts doing yoga in the middle of the store. Like I kid you not. Like not in the middle, but sort of like near the back window. Starts doing yoga, like
Mm.
reading from this notebook and doing yoga.
Mm.
Weird experience. And then in West, I was like, are you this person? He just looks at me and goes, no. And his wee droll voice. Sorry, I
I
went on a
mean,
bit of a tangent there that had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
no, I mean, in fairness, I went on a tangent as well. We were talking about people living or dead, and I started talking about mentalities. So, it
It
kind of
happens.
veered off a bit there, but hey, it is what it is. Let's veer back a little bit. Let's say so. One of the things we put up there, content, doing what you enjoy versus what the audience might want.
Mhm.
Now, I'm guessing this question was mainly aimed at myself. On this
I
one.
mean, yeah, I would see. I would love to see like the contrasts of like uh what your idea of like what you want to make versus what I would like to make, like eventually when I like start do like posting my own content as well.
Mhm. Yeah, like so. Obviously, see with the content, right? I make. Obviously, I came to realization that I wasn't necessarily going to be successful gaming.
Mm.
Now that's not saying the fact that I don't feel like I can make good gaming content. It's just sustainability wise, I don't think I would want to. Because I change what games I want to play all the time, and it's just kind of like I would want the flexibility and to try and do gaming content constantly. Try to do FIFA, which would probably be the game I would try to get successful at.
Mm.
It's difficult, so I don't know fully if that's something that I would do. But obviously the podcast was nice and easy, and it's easy to just chat because I can talk for Scotland, so it's easy enough that way. Um, Doing what you enjoy versus audience wants is difficult, because when it comes to what people want, if I say, for example, if I say FIFA videos, it needs to be fast. Like it needs to very much be very close to what Mr. Beast kind of style editing. It needs
Yeah.
to be fast. It needs to be um, constant changes of scene, unless you're already big in the scene already. So if you're in the Pentfez, Bates, and all that, you actually
Castro.
don't. Castro still does a lot of the kind of fast paced stuff because he's a very animated person.
Mm.
The Pentfez just comes out with quotes all of a sudden that are just like mental. And they do well. They do very well. Like
Mm.
there was the one where he came up with where you're probably getting really mad at someone doing this celebration on FIFA, and that guy who's doing the celebrations, showing all his mates this celebration. He's like, "Oh, look how cool this is! Look, what's he doing? What's he doing?" And you're just there calling effing and blinding. He's like, you can't do that. Yeah." So you're doing that on the other side, and he's just like, he's having a great time, just going, "Oh yeah, this celebration is really cool," you know. And it's like that. Like he comes up with stuff like that. And it's like, oh yeah, I suppose perspective, isn't it? And then it's like Bates, and obviously he's like he's constant with the content. He always comes up with these really good ideas all the time that people want to watch. And although he personally doesn't need to put that much kind of exuberance on camera, he's able to pull resources to generate that regardless. So like whether through the editing or through the content he creates. So he obviously, I think I was watching him earlier, and he was just showing the content for what was going on that day, and like I know full well the editing you'll put on that will be really really good. So like it's kind of what people want, They want the fast pace, constant changes, and I don't know necessarily if I like doing that yet. I'm going to try and edit a few and see if I like doing that. But I don't know. Podcast content is quite different because like people will put the podcast on in the background while
Yeah.
they're doing other things. Like typically speaking, people won't typically go out their way to watch a podcast. It's usually
Listening.
the thing on the side of what you're doing. So whether you're driving, you have it on there. If you're playing a game, you might have this YouTube video on at the side. Again, it's kind of, it depends. It's different for everyone.
See, for me, the idea of like constantly editing and making videos, like I do like that to a certain degree, but I like long form entertainment. So which is why I was so eager and happy to to hop on the podcast with you. I love long form entertainment. That's why I love the idea of like live streaming versus actual like videos, because I just feel like I get more out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like long form content's become a lot more popular now. I mean, look at the Simon videos. Beforehand, they
Yeah.
were never as long as they are now. Before they did this Simon Sunday thing, a lot of their videos were kind of at max maybe half an hour.
Yeah.
But changed. So yeah,
And
long form
there's so much
content,
better.
yeah.
There's so much better for it. Like I genuinely do get a wee bit like this video is only like 40 minutes. I want to see like a 2 hour long Sidemen Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, in fairness, yeah, I get the appeal you're thinking of there.
And
I mean-
like on the side of like the question that we're actually asking, like content you want to make versus the audience, like talking about that, like we're just saying like what we want from them, but they may not necessarily want to do that all the time.
I mean, you've got to be very authentic with the content you're making, because
Yeah.
if you're not authentic to what you're wanting to make,
Oh,
it's
people
not
can tell
sustainable.
instantly.
Like, don't get me wrong, right? I mentioned him earlier, Chuffsters, right? He pointed out to me that when I think we were off camera at one point, that he hates FIFA. He doesn't like it, but it's his job. Well, that was the game at the time. I don't know if his opinion's changed now. But at the time, he didn't like FIFA, but he knew full well that it was the smart choice to keep creating content on it. And it paid off massively for him because he kept gaining all these subscribers. He was doing exceptionally well. Now, he hated the game, but he knew full well he had to keep creating content. And that's just something that's a situation I really don't want to be in.
It's got to be
Where-
kind of unhealthy, take a mental toll on you, especially if it's like hating the idea of going into work the next day. Like I like going into work. Like if I didn't, I couldn't do it because like you have to be able to get some kind of satisfaction. So like, did he mention at all like I don't know, like does it like make him sad that he pigeonholed himself in at the time?
Not necessarily, because I this is me pulling back from a stream that he had a while back, and I was asking him about other games and stuff that he plays, and he says he just wouldn't play it on stream. Like he says, like when he streams and stuff like that, he is a FIFA content creator, so he will only play FIFA on his content, and he'll put other games outside of it. Because he when he had I don't know if he still has the Patreon. I think he does. His Patreon members, he would do this thing on like a Friday night, I think, where he would play games with them, and it would be anything. Usually be anything other than FIFA. It might be Pro Clubs for a change, from there. But yeah, he's like. I mean, I like. Don't get me wrong. I kind of looked at kind of Chuffsters when I look at like kind of success to application. Like he knew full well the goal that he had, and he produced the content that would get him to that goal. It required a lot of sacrifice. He still managed to produce content when he was going through a hard period. And he's gone through it, and he's found massive success for it. And fair play to him. Fair dues to him, because like I could see the like it's mad because I think back to when I was watching him when he was getting 20-30 views on his streams, and it's just it's crazy to think of how quickly and how, well, I say quickly, realistically, when he had 30 odd people, even then I still say it's quickly, because when I first saw Chuffsters was back in the first lockdown, which is what, 2020. So yeah, okay, 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Was that
for
wait?
3
Was that not
years.
2021? Or am I just remembering things weird? No, it was 2020. Sorry, ignore me. Ignore me.
Yeah, like 2020.
Yeah.
So 3 years to get to where he is now. Um, is mad. I think at the time I jumped on his channel and did I don't know if you knew this, right? I did a series he had at the time called FIFA Countdown,
Ooh, no.
and on the FIFA Countdown thing, it's basically I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was one part where we made our own teams, and basically you would try and come up with a footballer's name, but you would jumble the letters up, and then the other person would try and guess within like 30 seconds or something. I think it was, and I picked Vertonghen because I thought, oh, that's a long name. It's going to be a difficult one to get. The problem is, a longer name is actually easier to guess, because it's usually there's more identifiable characters in it. Like, how many names do you know that have V in it? You know,
True.
so that I actually saw myself.
Well, mine has a V.
Yeah, so it also made it. It also made it. What was it? Well, I also misspelt the name as well. And I remember particularly in the video, I can't remember what letter it was I missed from it, but then he was like, "Are you sure that's not going R or something like that?" And I was like, oh, yeah, it does." We're just laughing at this, like, oh, for God's sake. And then I realized like how badly I couldn't spell on a YouTube video. I'll have to find it at some point and look at it, because it's quite a funny one, because when we were recording it as well, matchmaking went down on Ultimate Team. So the part of the video where we were meant to play a game, it didn't happen. So we then had to record it the next day, which is quite funny. But yeah, no, I look at it like at a chuffed with the point of view, like I look at it like hard work generates like success, and actually seeing that progress, it doesn't even necessarily. It does matter the content you make. You do need to make very. You need to make engaging content where people watch it and say, you know what, I feel compelled to like this. I feel compelled to comment on this. I feel compelled to share this video. So yeah, I like. It's hard because like you have to get that element of the video in there. Like, one of the hardest things with YouTube is retention. So keeping people watching a video is hard. With podcasts, it's hard to do. Very, very hard to get retention with podcasts, because obviously people don't typically have it on the screen. It's more of something you listen to.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get that, but it is. I enjoy the content personally. I enjoy making it, and I do enjoy listening to it. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, and I've kind of just I'm thinking I'm going to say something inspirational here, and now I've lost all.
You've just went up complete blank. You've lost faith in yourself. Like, oh yeah, God, no.
This is the second. You know what? I'm probably still slightly hungover from yesterday's stream. This is probably the part of the problem. My mind's just not quite woken up yet. So,
it's 5 o'clock. You're fine.
Yeah, but I could tell you drinking after stream, which probably wasn't the best thing.
Oh no, you're not gonna get any sympathy from me. I've done that to myself. I know what it's like.
You don't give sympathy to somebody that's hungover.
Yeah, never.
That's fully self-inflicted. They know what they've done. you know, if people like when I was working as a manager, like you will do the same. When people come into work hungover, you show them no sympathy. It's like, this is your own fault.
I mean, to be fair, I think I've went in hungover more times than any staff there. Like, genuinely, yeah. I think I've come in still a little bit steaming. Getting home at 5 o'clock, opening for 6.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If someone came in hungover, I'd purposely put them on the tills more.
Well, you're always on the tills anyway doing this, except for if you're like clearing the floor. So it would. There's no real way to punish somebody making coffee. It's unless you just like bully them. No, I'm not condoning that.
I don't know if it's bullying. I remember one time we had just bring the speaker into the office when doing cash with somebody that was hungover and just playing music very loudly. That might be bullying, it might not be. I don't know. It depends on your perspective. But you can't sue me now.
It's not bullying. It's character building.
character building. learn to handle yourself hungover.
You may not like me, but I will send you back into the world with a stronger skin.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, potentially. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, like, I don't think I've actually fully asked you, like, what's the actual content that you want to produce? Like, we mentioned obviously about you streaming on the
Yeah.
previous podcast. What actual content do you want to create?
Kind of content that I want to create is something like this,
Mm.
like just being a part of that conversation, just like making people think. I love the idea of just being able to plant a seed or an idea in somebody's head, and that sticks with them all day. Like I
Mm.
love the ability the content creators have in order to like to leave that kind of like imprint on someone, like whether to inspire, motivate, like whatever your content may be. I love that ability to like affect somebody through the medium of content creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a one of the reasons why I want to stream as well is like half of the dumb things like I say and during when playing games with my friend Errol, it's like
Mm-hmm.
we've been playing a game called SnowRunner where you just drive about in muddy and snowy conditions, but there's something so cathartic about it that it just it just fills you with joy to be driving this big truck through some mud. Like we've named our trucks Duncan and Terrence. Like that's what I wanna be able to like transfer that into like some kind of format that people can
Mm-hmm.
enjoy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, yeah. I mean, streaming is fun. Like,
Mm.
I can't lie to you. Like, even when you're not streaming to that many people, you get a nice little core. It is very fun and very motivating as well because you know full well that you want to kind of keep these guys entertained.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I remember when I first started with it, it was decent. So, and even now, I still obviously when a stream bangs, you know it. When you
Yeah.
come off it, you know that stream's banged.
Like the one
So
like the one you did yesterday.
oh yeah, that was a class stream. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed doing that. I just need to move out so I can do those kind of streams more often. But yeah. So yeah, one of the other things, obviously, we're gonna talk about, and I'll get your opinion on this one. If you could have a billboard that says anything on it,
Hmm.
what would it be, and why?
Oh, I don't really know. It's a very odd one because like what would I want to put up there? Like again,
Uh,
stemming from my idea of what kind of content I would want to do, just a question mark, just a question mark on a black on a white background.
Riddle me this.
Yeah.
I mean, I am yeah, mine would say I don't think anything else that really suits it other than this. Scuff to success. To be honest,
Stuff to success.
scuff to success. It's hard to say, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It's a lot
like-
harder to say with your accent, to be fair.
Yeah, scuff to success, or
Scuff to success.
scuffed success, or
There you go.
or just
You can
scuff.
do it.
Yes, if I'm on a billboard, there's no reason you can't be as well.
Just have a picture of your face, just like thumbs up, double thumbs upping.
Yeah, just kind
No
of
words, just that.
I am very, very scuff. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube. But you should do right now. If you aren't already, subscribe to this YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, follow and subscribe to YouTube as well. Just find a way to do it. Yeah, so yeah, it'd be scuffed to success. I mean, in fairness, you don't even see that many billboards these
Yeah,
days.
it's a dying art.
Yeah, like I was thinking that the other day. There's a lot more of them are now electronic billboards now,
Mm.
if they are. Because advertising is really done through like short form content now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like you just don't see it. I mean, the weird thing is, I don't think I've ever seen a billboard get changed.
Oh,
Like,
I
I don't
have.
think
It's weird. It well, if it's one of the rotating ones, like they're literally just taking slots in and out. But
Mhm.
most they just like paper over the same thing.
It's the same thing as well as I don't think I've ever seen a poster get changed at a bus stop, but they always seem to get changed. Like, who are these? Like, who are these
At
ninjas
1,
just
2
coming
in
in
the
here,
morning.
just changing them and like,
Bus stop gremlins, don't feed them after midnight.
yeah, just the gremlins changing bus shelters. Like,
We're
oh,
here to
jeez, oh.
change the posters, master. Just crawling out from the bushes with these paintbrushes.
Deary me. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen those change. But now that I've said that, I'm going to be actively looking for it.
Yeah,
Like deliberately
you're bound to have
searching.
seen it, but you just didn't know.
Yeah, probably. In fairness, yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, it's like yeah, it's I've never. I mean, in fairness, a lot of those are changing to TVs and stuff like that now, aren't they? Like the
Yeah.
advertisement things on them.
There's always
But
a screen everywhere.
yeah, yeah. We're all the technology is moving forward, and acquiring all our bills to up with electricity because the UK can't get a handle on this. But we won't get too political on this podcast.
Let's not.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the last topic that we put in here was kind of relating again to myself on this one, because it was about the possibility of. Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna change that actually slightly, because you put in one talking about 2023, the year of gigs and events, attending them. Like, do you have many planned yourself this year?
Well, two on the cards. So going to see Sabaton, power metal band, and then going to see Def Leppard. So,
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Gonna do a bit of that. Like, there's a few. Like, I want to get over to Old Trafford to watch a few matches. If I can, it's just like being able to get the time and then paying for it and then getting over blah blah blah. I just want to do more. I want to be out and active, like going to like a comedy show. Going to, I don't know, like a haunted house tour. Just going to random weird things. I just want to fill this year up with as much as I can, really.
Yeah. No, I
What
get
about
that.
yourself?
I mean, this is gonna be the first year I've ever been to a concert or gig.
Oh shit!
Yeah, first year because I've got one booked in March, to go see I Prevail.
I have no idea who that is.
Now I believe that their description is a metal band, though Andy loves to say that they're punk rock, which I think he's just saying that to annoy me.
Oh, he probably just is.
Yes. Yeah. So obviously, yeah, I wait to see them. I've also got in September. I wait to see Blink-182.
Oh no! Oh, why? Ew! No. I'm disappointed.
I was offered a ticket. I've never been to that many concerts, so
I mean,
yeah,
fair enough.
And then I also probably try and maybe see Paramore. I think potentially.
Oh God, man, why? Oh, stop! You're hurting me. You're hurting me physically.
I quite like Paramore. I can't lie.
Oh, stop saying it! Why are you saying it again? Stop!
Like they're not bad. Like,
oh, you're stop making it worse.
That's plenty. Like yeah, like when I was talking about kind of my favorite bands, like obviously Linkin Park is still number one, and it always will be. Probably, like, you know, I can't really say that someone else is really going to take it. And, you know, probably I Prevail has probably started to reach in there a little bit. I actually very much like Machine Gun Kelly's stuff that he's produced of late, because it is actually some like, I didn't like any of his stuff before, because all his stuff before was very much kind of rap. And
which he sucked at.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And then he got
demolished by Eminem and fled to another genre.
Yeah, pretty much, to be honest. I mean, you pretty much nailed it.
I mean, fair play. He's from what I hear for like people who are consuming his content. He's actually been popping off in the pop rock genre.
Yeah, he did a song with Bring Me the Horizon, and that one was alright. It wasn't my favorite one from him, but it was alright. But the stuff he's produced overall is quite. You know what he produced so. Not a lot of people might not know this already. He produced a kind of short film, like it's about 45 minutes long, where it's just his entire album, but it's put into kind of a live action film.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's actually quite good. Like that was how I actually discovered him. Is I came across it by accident. No, I discovered it because I heard one of his songs for the first time when I went to a club called the Cat House, which is basically a metal club.
That is not what I thought that was going to be.
Yeah, it's a.
I went to a cat house. Okay, where's this going?
Were you expecting pools or something?
Well, let's keep this PG.
Yeah. Like when there, yeah. So it's it's a club in Glasgow that's kind of more heavy metal based
Oh, nice.
music, and yeah, I listened to one of his songs for the first time there, and I thought it was really good. Like I thought, oh, this one's really really catchy. It was one. It's what's it called? It's I've now said it and I can't for life remember the name of the song now. Forget Me Too with Halsey. And it's really really good. That one it kind of caught me. So I searched that song up to see, like just to listen to it, and I noticed a link to that video was this kind of 45-minute kind of show on YouTube, and it said Machine Gun Kelly. I was like, is that just his whole album? So I click on it, and then next thing I know, I watched the entire thing, and it was really well made. So that's it's literally just his whole album, and I think it's like the first album he released.
I might go give that a wee watch because it does sound quite interesting to me. I don't like his music at all, but I mean, that sounds like an interesting watch to me.
It really is, and because I think it was the first one he dived into that genre of music, this not genre of music, and he did a song with Will Smith's daughter, who I didn't actually realize was Will Smith's daughter.
Really, you didn't realize Willow Smith was Will Smith's daughter?
Because she's only down as Willow.
You should only added 2 bloody letters to the name, Willow Smith.
No, but
that's Smith lazy parenting. That is.
Yeah, but Smith isn't in the name. Like
I thought it was.
Yeah, when you look at the song, it's just Willow. It's not. There's no Smith there. And even when I looked at her, I didn't twig the fact that she would. That was
what was her breakout song? It was you. I whip my hair back. That was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, but she's bald now. So again, okay. I didn't recognize her either. So she's changed a lot since then.
Clearly, has no hair to whip back and forward.
Well, yeah, probably did it too much. Yeah, so yeah, I didn't even realize. So after watching that, I was like, oh yeah, it is her. Yeah, so yeah, he's probably third on my list, and then I think kind of fourth is probably, to be honest, is probably Paramore, to be honest.
Oh god, your top 5 and my top 5 are very very different. The only common band in there is Linkin Park, but the rest of them would be Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Beatles, currently Sabaton, and Gary Moore probably.
The Irish Foo Fighters getting you at all?
Oh no, I do love a bit of Foo Fighters. Like Foo Fighters over Nirvana for me.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree personally. What about 30 Seconds to Mars?
Nope.
No?
Too emo for me. Too I love you kind of style of music. I just don't do it.
So I'm guessing you hate MCR then.
Oh, I can't stand MCR. Cannot stand them. I don't get it. It's just it's too sad.
Are you in the same bracket as everyone else when they say that Nickelback songs all sound the same?
I don't think they all sound the same. Like, obviously he has a very distinctive voice, so it's always going to be very similar in terms of like his singing style. Like Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers, sounded the same, had that same weird style of singing. With how like he goes in between singing and rapping almost with his vocals. That has been sounding the same for the last 30 years, but the music itself doesn't all sound the same. Like they have a very clear and distinct style, which is what I think Nickelback has. Like his Dark Horse album is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, my favorite song between two, but probably my favorite song in that one is Something in Your Mouth, because it's a bit outrageous. So it's a bit outrageous. Like, you know, I kind of like it. Let me see. I'm just going through a list of my Spotify at the moment to see other ones on here. I mean, Green Day.
Not for me.
Oh, no, fair enough. Because I don't like all their songs. I like some of them. Let's see, who else have I got here? I mean, Papa Roach.
Again, not for me. Just not my style.
Right. This might be a bit controversial for a lot of people. Right? Do you know System of a Down? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Serge Tankian, fantastic vocalist.
Yeah. You know Chop Suey?
Chop Suey, yeah.
Most overrated song in my opinion.
I I can I don't find that controversial. I can see why you would think that, and a lot of people probably would think it's like a what thing, but I can see that it's played out. It's played out.
Yeah, I think it's.
When you compare it to stuff
I
like
skip it
Toxicity and
constantly. I have like I have it on my playlist, but
mm,
I skip it every time.
I mean fair. I don't
Yeah.
think it's as good as like other songs like Violent Pornography and Toxicity, Aerials. I don't think
Mhm.
it's anywhere near as good as them. It's still a good song, but because of how popular it is, it's always going to be like, oh, that song.
It's kind of like Papa Roach. Like as soon as I say Papa Roach,
Last Resort.
you
Yeah,
immediately think of Last Resort. You can't shake. It's hard to shake that.
yeah.
Let's see. Sum 41.
I can take it. I can take a bit of Sum 41. It's a bit more on the heavier side of it and less boy bandy.
Mm-hmm. I suppose yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is too heavy. Five Finger Death Punch.
I like a bit of them. Some of their songs are a bit. I do like. I love the vocalist. They had a really
Yeah,
really great
he's.
song with the lead singer of Judas Priest, Rob Halford. I think it's Wash It All Away.
I think yeah. I know the one you're on about. Yeah. I'm trying to think. See, some of these I'm not sure you'll know. Do you know Rise Against?
No.
No,
Oh wait,
okay.
you're on about Rise Against the Machine?
No.
Okay.
It's a Rage Against the Machine, isn't it?
Oh shit, never mind.
Yeah. Rise Against that. They're different. I discovered them on Guitar Hero.
Of course.
Maybe edging slightly to the. Oh, I don't know. Hollywood Undead.
No, no, not
No,
for me.
not this.
I used to
Okay.
like them when I was younger, but
Hmm.
no, not anymore.
Skillet.
God no.
Okay, nice. Hailstorm.
No, no, not for me.
Nah. AC/DC.
Oh yes, no, I love a bit of Akadaka. Love a bit of
Yeah.
Akadaka. Like that's my style. Like
Mm.
AC/DC, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, like all of that kind of stuff. Motorhead, Metallica, Iron Maiden, all of that stuff. That's where I sit. That's where
Mm.
I'm comfortable.
No. You know what? I get that as well because it's like I mean, I'm just gonna go through my liked songs now
Mm.
because there's a few that I've tucked in there that aren't in that playlist. But yeah, no, I definitely get exactly what you mean because I love AC/DC and I wish I could see them live, but unfortunately it's just a bit too late now. To see them live.
AC/DC, no, they're AC/DC are gonna have another tour.
I I I spot the lead singer was really ill.
Brian Johnson, no, Ozzy Osbourne's really ill. Brian
Yeah,
Johnson's fit and healthy.
I thought he was really ill as well.
Oh, it might have been something I've missed.
Yeah. I might need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he's really ill now
Oh,
and
I hope not.
not able to do any more. I mean, I might be wrong, but aye. Oh, here's one that you probably Limp Bizkit.
Oh, I like a few of them because like the era I
Mm.
grew up in, but ultimately no.
Oh right, no worries. Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh God, no! Get that filth away from me. No, that is not real metal. That is. Oh, see the way when I was saying earlier about MCR, like the da, 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 that's what I
Yeah.
think of. Like tears
I knew
don't
as soon as I
fall,
said it. I
hearts
knew as
burst
soon as
into
I said
fire.
it, yeah.
God no, that is trash.
I knew immediately as soon as I said it. I was like, he's not gonna like them.
My God.
Let me see here. I've got a few kind of dancey songs there, so I doubt that because obviously my genre, like my range of music is quite hefty.
Hmm.
I don't know. Did I introduce you at all to Our Last Night band?
No.
No, they do rock covers of pretty much very popular songs, and some of them are really really good. Let's see. Let's try to take a slightly different turn. What about do you like George Ezra?
I do like a bit of folk music, but he doesn't really do it for me.
No, that's fair. Let me see. Oh, there you go. Here's one that Avril Lavigne.
Oh, mate, stop, please. You're embarrassing yourself.
No, she's a classic man.
No,
she's
just no.
classic, man. Some of her songs, they have to be in a.
Next, you're
place
gonna
where,
say
like, why is
Evanescence.
it gotta be so? Oh, we're gonna get copyrighted. Complicated, you know. It's like it's just
They can only
classic.
copyright you if they can discern what the hell you're singing.
Why's it gotta be so complicated?
Oh, no, man.
I mean, it's like in my opinion, like she's in the same bracket as Green Day. Like when it comes to like Holiday / Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Uh,
It's like old school songs that were massive when we grew up.
yeah.
So it's like that's why I feel like those kind of like they have to be in the same bracket. Um, like I said, I'm just kind of just scrolling through a lot of the songs that I used to have. I mean, I've got a hell of a lot of Linkin Park just sitting in my liked Spotify at the moment. I mean, it's a very big mix. I've got Stormzy in there. I have I have the opening song to Borderlands.
Oh no, that's a piece of artwork.
Yeah, ain't no rest for the wicked. Ain't
No, I
no
love that
rest
song
for
so
the
much.
wicked. Money don't grow on trees. Yeah, it's like it was Borderlands that got me that one. Let's see what else. I've also got Mike Shinoda. Three Doors Down are okay. Bad Wolves at all?
Uh, no, I don't know them.
No. He's got the lead singer there has got an amazing voice. Calvin Harris. I mean, I really like him because he's Scottish.
Is Calvin Harris Scotch?
Was that?
Is Calvin Harris Scottish?
Yeah. He's from Paisley, I think.
Honestly, never would have guessed that. Never knew.
Yeah, I mean the fact he sings in his songs as well. Yeah, he's Scottish.
Shows you how much I've listened to him. Because I know that fella Lewis Capaldi. He's Scottish, right?
Yeah. What about James Brown?
Who?
James Brown. Get up off of that thing.
Nope.
No. Jeez. Coldplay.
You're just naming. No. Well, to be fair, I do. I've really gotten into a band called The Strokes recently, so it's kind of similar vibe, I guess.
Yeah. Good
That
Charlotte.
post. Oh God, mate. You just never left the early 2000s, did you? You're just eternally stuck there.
I should add, where I'm scrolling, right, is
you have a Spy Kids poster on your wall or something? My God. It's okay, man. You can move forward in time. The world's not that hard.
Hilarious. It's hilarious because I remember having the DVD of Spy Kids, and it was like the interactive one.
Oh, God.
You remember that era of like sing along movies and stuff like that, and it's just like they come with an extra CD. Now everyone's Netflix, so no one even buys DVDs so much anymore.
I do enjoy because I still have the DVD player and stuff like that. So I like going through like the bonus features of stuff like that and just seeing what weird stuff back in the day. Like there was like wee tiny games and stuff on them, like especially on kids films.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling at the moment, just gonna see some of my the phases I must have gone through with some of these. I mean, I know full well what the answer is going to be like this one. You're going to tell me it's too emo, but Blackfield Brides.
Oh, that's almost as bad as Bullet for My Valentine, man. If not worse.
I maybe potentially say worse just because of the.
Spud, are you okay? Do you want to talk? Like,
that's my kind of music. I love that kind of music. I can't help it.
I mean, fair enough. Like, you're allowed to be into what you're into. Like, for my undying love of 80s movies. They're a lot of them are terrible, but I love them.
Yeah,
I mean, you're allowed to like what you like, even if what you like isn't worth liking.
Yeah, like the like I love the old Batman show from the 60s.
I remember you sending me something from that where he was trying to dispose. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah. It's also in the same movie that he has this rubber shark attached to his leg, and he's saying to Robin, "Pass down the shark repellent spray," and we're just like, "Shark repellent spray."
Oh God!
First of all, how is a spray going to be much effective against a shark?
Maybe it's Old Spice.
Like it's just what was it? This great scene as well, right at the end, where let's leave Robin inconspicuously out the window. Oh yeah. Like
totally nonchalant, just break through the glass. Nobody will see or hear a thing.
Yeah, it's just like it's so bad, it's good kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
like who comes up with the fact that's like that must have been the intent when it was created. Like,
Because I don't even think back then with what way content and stuff like that
mm.
was about that back then. If anybody could have seriously looked at that dialogue and think, you know what, this is award winning.
Oh,
Surely it
man.
has to be done satirical on purpose.
I mean, you love Star Trek, like the old.
Oh,
Star Trek.
I'm a massive Trekkie.
Like
I love
you,
the
you,
original
you look at it
series.
now. It is like it is awful, but it's good at the same time, isn't it?
It's awful. It's bad, but it's also good. I don't think the Batman show has that. It's just bad, and it's hilariously bad.
Oh yeah, it's hilariously bad. Like it's hilariously bad, but I also love it at the same time. So like,
I just love some of the sayings, and I've actually started doing them as I've gotten older because for some reason I've decided to try and not swear as much as I used to. So I'm especially being in a professional environment where yeah. You know, you have employees.
You just go around dropping a mug of coffee, go, gee willikers.
No, I've done it. I've genuinely done it. I say, gee willikers, that's hot.
Oh dearie me, man. Right. Well, I feel like we'll end the podcast there. Thank you very much again, Remy.
Always happy to be here.
Amazing. Right. Well, team, if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you do hit a thumbs up. And also, again, I mentioned it for the third time, but obviously...
Don't forget to click that subscribe button.
Exactly what he said. You know, listen, he's a smart man. Follow him on nothing because he hasn't got
On
anything.
nothing.
So, follow him in real life. Stalk Remy.
None of these people know where I live, man.
He lives in the north of Ireland, so there's a start. So and I've just told him he works with coffee, so there you go. There's
that really narrows it down, man.
Yeah, there you go. Just going into coffee shops. Is Remy here? Yeah,
you know what? See if I go to work on Monday and somebody comes in. Is there a Remy here? My life will have just peaked and completed at that moment.
If it is, like, I'll just quickly share this with you. Did I ever tell you the one time I got recognized?
No.
No. This was in the Nike store, and I was behind the till at the time, and the person just says, "I recognize you from somewhere." Like, but what is it from? And at that point, I just kind of said, "Oh, I stream games and stuff like that." And then he pointed out, TikTok. I recognize you from TikTok. You do a podcast, don't you? And recognize me from the podcast.
Oh shit!
Which was kind of a mad thing, but it shows also the reach TikTok's got as well.
I would that's something that I would love to see. Just like being recognized for something like that.
Yeah, it was really odd.
Must have been a lovely feeling.
I mean, he didn't ask for a picture or anything like that, so I'm not quite at that level.
No,
yet.
you're not quite
there. Picture me, but like I got recognized, like someone knew me from something else, So
I mean that's still quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean I'll take it every day of the week. But yes, team, as I was closing off the podcast again. Thank you very much for everyone that's tuned in today. Appreciate you all. Obviously in the next one. So adios, team. See you later.